This is a stat that came out. Shedeur has the all-time pass completion percentage in college football history. This is an interesting stat that came out, and Shedeur tweeted it and said legendary. So, Matt, what are your thoughts on this? I don't think media is really highlighting this and covering this in the way they should. I mean, you would think that if Shedeur is the top, has that type of record, you'd cover it more. But, I mean, I don't know, Colorado Fever, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's not Colorado Fever. It's a percentage. It's a completion. There's no, like, stat padding or anything. It's a fucking completion percentage. He's the number one completion percentage in the history of college football. That makes him the number one pick, and I don't even think it's questionable.
Yeah.
Anybody that wants to question whether or not he's going to be successful, that number.
Right.
And he's going to dice up the NFL because of that, because he's fucking accurate.
Yeah. And I highlighted this because, Matt, you would think that on, NFL Network and ESPN and, you're covering this. I mean, have you heard this stat brought up? The first time I heard this was on Twitter.
Oh, dude, people like, I'm sure that nobody has brought this up because I only heard about it yesterday. But I'm telling you, 71.8 completion percentage is pretty goddamn impressive. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, this should be the number one thing that they're talking about, bro. But, of course, look, they're going to do everything humanly possible to try and talk this kid down because they don't like how cocky it is. They don't like that he's legendary. They don't like it. They don't like that he does rap songs. They don't like that he goes to Fashion Week. They don't like that he has swag. They don't like it. They don't like that shit. And that sucks because he's bringing it. This is why he needs to go to the Raiders and play for Pete Carroll. This is why. He doesn't need to go to the fucking Giants and play a year for Brian Daboll before he gets fired and be on a coaching carousel. And that's not a good fit. No, he needs to go to the Raiders. They need to stop fucking around and trade up and make this happen. Go play for Pete Carroll in Vegas where you can have swag and he can go fucking live his life and be the Raider quarterback where they need a guy like Shedeur Sanders in Las Vegas with the Raider fucking emblem on the head. They need a guy like this to run that organization.
Let me say this.
Fast, big blue. Fuck that. Don't go to the Giants.
I don't think Pete Carroll's going to draft a rookie quarterback. No way. That personally. I just don't think at his age that he's going to sit there and have the time to develop Shedeur in 3 years. I just don't think it's going to happen personally. Now, let me say this. Hold on. Let me say this about the Giants. You got to remember with Brian Daboll, you think he's a one and done. He won a playoff game with Daniel Jones.
He's been here for 4 fucking years. Who said he was a one and done? Who said that?
You said it, Shedeur.
I said he gets fired after next year, which he will.
I don't agree with you though. That if they drafted Shedeur, I would be pretty optimistic. Remember, he won a playoff game with Daniel Jones.
Shedeur and they go 5-12. He's getting fired.
If they go 5-12, I don't see that if they draft Shedeur.
I don't give a fuck what you see. I'm telling you the way it is. He's going to get fired.
I don't know.
If they go 5-12,
you got to put a little bit more respect
on Daboll. And they will bring in somebody else to work with Shedeur. Don't tell me he won't. They're not going to go 3 straight years losing seasons with multiple losses if that were to happen.
Yeah, if they were having to bring in Shedeur and have a losing season, sure. But I'm a little bit more on Brian Daboll than people might think. He won a playoff game with Daniel Jones. People just forget that because he had a horrible season
years ago. With Saquon and everybody else. Great. They won a playoff game 3 years ago. So,
that's what it kills me because Saquon, he was hurt half that year, though. That's the thing. People don't want to look at that.
Haley, what the fuck are you talking about, dog? It was 3 years ago. If Brian Daboll struggles next year, they will fire him. Yeah, and they'll bring in another hot offensive coordinator to work with Shedeur if he's quarterback there. Period.
I don't see the Shedeur or the Raiders thing. I just don't think Pete Carroll brings in a rookie quarterback. I think Pete
Carroll, the last time he had a ton of success was with a rookie quarterback that he drafted in the 3rd round. Your best friend.
3rd round. Right. He didn't draft him with the 6th pick. That's my point. But like you mentioned it.
He still made – hold on. Russell Wilson went in the 3rd round and replaced somebody they gave like an $80 million contract to.
You're right. Matt Flynn.
You're right. I don't give a shit where he's drafted. He's still a rookie.
Well, we
And
know
he took
Shedeur's
them
not
to
going to fall in the
Super
third round. Pete Carroll's known for getting talent in late rounds. If he has that fifth or sixth
fucking
pick, he's
deal.
going to
If
draft
he has a rookie quarterback on a rookie
I think he'll go
contract,
defense.
he'll be able to win. Rookie quarterbacks on rookie contracts allow you to stack the team.
Yeah, I hear you, but it's the Raiders. You really think that Pete Carroll with the sixth pick, who's a defensive guy, is going to draft a quarterback?
Yes, they don't have a quarterback. They don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, you're right. They don't have a quarterback, but I don't think with the sixth pick you're doing that. No way. I just don't agree with that.
That's exactly why I've said 15 times that they need to move up.
See, I don't think they do that either, though. I just don't see it. I don't see them drafting a quarterback with their top 10 pick.
This isn't like
the two Michigan cats.
Ask Haley what he thinks about the Raiders pick. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm just saying they could move up if they're going to.
If they could, right.
That's the route. That's what I think they should do.
Well, let me ask you this. You mentioned that you think that this stat should make Shedeur the number one pick. So our guy who's been on the show, Joe Klatt, put out a mock draft that has the Giants trading up to pick one to draft Shedeur. And he explained why he thought about Shedeur being the number one pick. But what are your thoughts on this mock draft? And we can kind of break down our own here, but go ahead. What are your thoughts? Is Shedeur solidified as one?
I mean, I don't have a fucking clue if he's solidified as one. Cam Ward could easily go number one too.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. It depends on who's going to trade and how they're going to move and all of those things. So the draft the way it is right now is not the way it's going to stay.
Agreed.
Like Cleveland, like if they really think they're going to lose Myles Garrett, probably stay there and take Abdul Carter. But everybody else in the top, with now the Jets not having a quarterback either, because now they need one. Every single fucking team there, with the exception of New England, needs a fucking quarterback. So don't tell me there's not going to be crazy ass movement and trades and people trying to get in position to take one of these two guys. And especially if the Jackson Dart kid keeps climbing up draft boards the way he is, he's going to be in the fucking mix too, because everybody needs a quarterback on a rookie contract so they can go out and fucking stack the deck and try and win a fucking Super Bowl. The same way the fucking Commanders just did it and went from 4 wins to the top.
Oh, now I have a question for you. Now I have a really good question for you. So the Jets are at 7. Any shot they trade up to 1? And I know you.
Why can't the Raiders do it from 6 if the Jets could do it from 7?
Because I think the Jets are more desperate to take a quarterback in the top 10 than the Raiders.
Oh my God! Neither one of them have a quarterback, dog. The Titans are desperate for a quarterback. The Giants are desperate for a quarterback. The Browns are desperate for a quarterback. The fucking Raiders and the Jets are both desperate for quarterbacks. I bet you even Jacksonville's desperate for a quarterback, considering they just drafted the guy number 1 and he's fucking terrible.
Yeah, you're right. They all need quarterbacks. I don't see it with the Raiders, man. You're so convinced the Raiders are going to draft a quarterback with a top 10
I'm
pick.
not convinced.
Pete Carroll never, when he had a top 10 pick, picked the quarterback. Never. And even when they needed one, they never did it. Never. And I don't think he's going to change.
And now Tom Brady's running shit and not the Davises.
Yeah, but you don't get Pete Carroll unless Pete Carroll has some sort of autonomy when it comes to this shit. Personally. You don't think so?
I think that Pete Carroll likes rookie quarterbacks on rookie deals.
Yeah, but I don't think in the top 10. Not with those two Michigan cats there, the corner and the D tackle, Mason Graham, who you know better than anybody is going to be a
awesome. You can have a corner. If you don't have a quarterback, you're fucked. The Broncos drafted PS2 3 years ago, and he didn't have a quarter. The minute he got a fucking quarterback on the other side of the ball and they went to the playoffs, he was the defensive player of the year. You think that's coincidence?
No, but I'm not. You're not hearing me. I just don't think the Raiders take a top.
You, dog. Trust me, dude. I'm sorry, but I've got more experience with you than you about all this kind of shit.
I'm not.
Bailey, what are we fucking arguing about quarterbacks?
No, what the fuck? You're getting pissed because I'm saying I don't think the Raiders will take a quarterback in the top 10 picks.
Fucking get your feelings all up about it. I don't give a fuck. I'm telling you the way I think it's going to play out, the same way you are.
Yeah, well, there's nothing else to be said. We'll discuss and put out our own mock draft, I'm sure, before the draft gets here. But, man. I
really doubt I'm going to put out a mock draft, but whatever. I'm sure we'll react to fucking Mel the Viper Kuiper's mock draft. Yeah, and old Todd McShay and all the fucking geniuses.
I think we'll only react to Mel Kiper because we have history with Mel. But Shedeur, another stat. all-time leader in passing completion percentage in college football history. Something that needs to be highlighted more.